Rancho Cucamonga, the home to nearly 178,000 people, a city which grows by the thousands yearly, a city which silently commits 4,000 crimes annually, beating out Fontana and nearly beating Corona. San Bernardino was established in 1854 during the Gold Rush. Although people had lived there since San Gabriel's Archangel mission arrival in 1810, an official marking of the territory was withheld until a larger flow of citizens came into the city. The region would be considered very promising since it is filled with gold, honey, and a lot of potential business opportunities. Following the nation's push for innovation, San Bernardino was outfitted with transportation, income from businesses, and a functional government. With this, and a still relatively small population, San Bernardino's community thrived and was open to many more migrants. The city would receive the All-American City Award, signifying that the city was not only successful in maintaining a positive community environment, but encouraging collaboration, inclusiveness, and innovation. But it wouldn't be long before San Bernardino would see a steep decline. Within the next decade, violent crime would shoot up by nearly 50%, regardless of the national average actually decreasing at the time. This steep incline would eventually slow, but would never really recover. Today, San Bernardino is considered one of the worst in terms of crime rate, with 4,200 crimes committed per 100,000 people, nearly double that of the national average, which commits 2,581 crimes per 100,000. How can such a perfect city fail the way that it did? San Bernardino, following its recognition of being an all-American city, started to gain residents rapidly, doubling over the course of the following decade. With failing administration, an ineffective police force, and a community which continues to grow while falling apart, a decline would be imminent. In 2008, the juvenile arrest rate had peaked, with black residents being put into cuffs 60% of the time. The simple fact is, with no infrastructure or community to fall back on, people will be more willing to commit crimes. Furthermore, even with a good household, the region's general negativity towards its residents with unsettled rivalries between neighbors provide a much stronger influence to children living in the area. The way things are, the city's decline was destined to continue. Rancho Cucamonga is far from becoming like San Bernardino. With its history and population trends, however, it's starting to seem like it's going to become that way. In 2020, Rancho Cucamonga received the All-American City Award, despite the current world events taking hold over the city. While a certainly very good thing, there seems to be a reoccurrence in the fact that the population seems to be growing at an increasing rate. At the current moment, this has meant nothing since crime rates have technically declined because of the population increase. It is not unreasonable to assume that this would change, however. Residents of the area are relatively unconcerned with this being a possibility, since the reasonably quiet environment welcomes people who would normally be considered with this being the case. Many find it easy to ignore the fact that Rancho Cucamonga is still one of the largest offenders of crime. I feel that recognizing the potential danger could be a step in the right direction. I'd like to think I learned something from Ratibu Shadidi. William Henry Ratibu Shadidi Jacox is a resident which was interviewed recently regarding his experience in moving into the Inland Empire. Shadidi would begin his move in 1977, the same year where San Bernardino received the All-American City Award. After basically pleading for his job, he recognized a catchphrase that would change his life.
And you can earn money while you are learning.
It's clear that Rancho Cucamonga at this point is earning, but not learning. We as a city are successful in becoming great, but we fail to learn from the mistakes of San Bernardino. When I interviewed Mrs. Alarcon, she informed me of a somewhat recent scandal of a former councilman, Rex Gutierrez. She made the mention of the fact that he was able to run again and succeed in gaining office with little trouble. This is a problem waiting to happen based on issues that San Bernardino faced. It's a simple solution. Be more proactive and less reactive. The biggest problem with San Bernardino and Rancho Cucamonga is that little is actually done when facing a problem in the city. It's clear that if nothing is done to compensate for the massive increase in population, just like San Bernardino, crime is going to rise further, which would cripple the community and the desirability of living in the city. If more proactive measures are taken, such as encouraging people to be more involved with keeping the streets clean, then we'll have more success as a city. I'm not the only person to even suggest this. The See Something, Say Something movement is a clear incorporation of this idea in a school environment. To me, it's far more important to at least try to prevent a city from being crippled, and being stopped while doing so, rather than not trying at all. Rancho Cucamonga, at the moment, is a very beautiful city to live in. However, if we don't take care of it, it won't be for long.
Bruh.
Population, San Bernardino's residents of the area are relatively unconcerned with this being a possibility, since the relatively quiet environment. Oof, I used relatively twice.